Today we're going to talk about solving equations with inverses. And so we're going to start with an example. And so this is going to be an example of having a system of equations. So if we have 1x minus 2y minus 4z equals 7, and then 2x minus 3y minus 6z equals 5, and then negative 3x plus 6y plus 15z equals 0. And so we're going to create three matrices out of these equations. The first matrix is going to be the coefficients matrix. And so we're going to start and we're going to have our x value coefficients here. And so we're going to say we have 1, 2, negative 3. And then we're going to go to our y value coefficients. So then we have negative 2, negative 3, 6. And then we go to our z value coefficients. So we have negative 4, negative 6, and 15. And I'm going to call this matrix A. The next matrix we're going to make is going to be our variable matrix. And so we're going to have our x's. So we're going to have an x, and then we're going to have our y, and then our z. And we're going to call this matrix X because it's our variable matrix. And that's going to equal our constants matrix. And we're going to call that matrix B. So I'm going to give you some steps. And so step 1 is you're going to have A times X equals B as your equation. Step 2 is you're going to take the inverse of A times X equals the inverse of A times B. Step 3 is you're going to use cumulative property, and we're going to say A inverse times A times X equals A inverse times B. Step 4, we know that A inverse times A is equal to our identity matrix. And so we have our identity matrix times X equals A inverse times B. And step 5, your identity matrix times anything is just that anything. So the identity matrix times X is just X. So X equals the inverse of A times B. Right here is an important step that you're going to want to know because that's more of a formula that you're going to use, so you don't have to go through every single step. So now if we go ahead and do an example down here where we have A inverse is going to equal negative 3, 2, 0, negative 4, 1, negative 2/3, 1, 0, 1/3. And I found that inverse using the calculator. And so this would be the inverse of matrix A up here. So So if we keep going now, we know according to step 5 that x equals the inverse of A times matrix B. So we can say our X matrix, X, Y, Z, equals our inverse matrix from right above here, times matrix B from all the way up here, matrix B, and when we do that out, you're going to find that it equals negative 11, negative 23, 7, and I found that using the calculator by multiplying the two matrices together. And so from here now, we can say that X is negative 11, Y is negative 23, and Z is 7. And so we're going to write out our final answer in the bottom as X equals negative 11, Y equals negative 23, and Z equals 7.